All right, we're back. We are back. We got a new co-host. We kicked Ryan Boyle out. We've got Cece Webb in the hot seat. How you doing, Cece?
Good, how are you?
Good. And before we start, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor. This week's sponsor, Box Lacrosse. Pretty cool stuff they've got. My son George and my son Mac, they love the stick customizer, and they've got these like sweet custom sticks. We'll look, and you know what? We'll do it right now. A little sneak preview.
Ooh.
This is the girl stick that the All-Stars are going to get at Future Icons. Pretty sweet, right?
Ooh.
Would you use something like this? It's an intense mesh right there.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
For a minute, yeah.
Nice. Do you go with traditional leathers now?
Yeah.
All right. It's the way to be.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, our guest today, Cece Webb, local product here, Summit, New Jersey. We're out of New Providence, local Summit, New Jersey, 2-time USA All-American at high school, 2-time academic All-American, New Jersey Defender of the Year. That was probably pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then 2-time state champ, right?
Yes.
And tournament champions your junior year?
Yeah.
Which for anyone who doesn't know, that's like, in New Jersey, there's so many different groups and ages. There's like sizes, basically, right? The tournament champions, which is now the Curse Cup.
Yep.
They bring all the champions from each group together for like one ultimate champion.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Where do you guys play that?
I think it was Mount St. Mary.
Okay.
It was the last TOC, so really big deal because the Curse Cup now is only on the boys' side. So I know that there are a lot of girls who are fighting to get that back for them because it's an incredible experience.
They haven't kept the Curse Cup alive on the girls' side. No. All right, well, something for our Jersey girls friends to think about and get going again. Although you are the last champion, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So no one will break that record if they don't get it going again. Awesome. Well, Cece, want to talk box with you because we actually, before we really knew each other, we spent a lot of time together in Utica in like different parts of the arena. I was up in the broadcast booth. You were down on the floor. Talk about Team USA box. How did you find out about it? And let's just go through the process from start to finish.
Yeah. So Ginny Cap, head coach, she's incredible. She was my box coach in high school. So she started a little league just around here in high school. And
so you had played a little box in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not at the nowhere close to what real box actually is. But yeah, a little bit for Cap. And then Cap said to my dad, because Cap trains my littlest sister who's a goalie. And Cap said to my dad, when she was named the coach, I think Cece should try out. Charlotte North is going to be there, and my dad told me, and I was like, okay, Cap, like, whatever.
You didn't have that confidence in yourself yet.
And so I tried out, and Sam Swart shoved me into a board, and I was like, all right, we're in it. And it was great. Yeah, it was about 2 years of training camps, practicing on your own before the roster was officially named, and then we headed to Utica and won gold.
Yeah, that was one of the more incredible games I'd seen. So you hear about it from Coach Cap. You're like, I've played box a little bit. I'll give this a try. Where was the first tryout or first opportunity that you actually got to get together with the Team USA candidates?
Yeah,
down
so
in Baltimore?
No, the first one was, I want to say, somewhere in South Jersey. I don't really remember where, but they had 3 dates. One was in Utica, one was in Jersey, and one was, I think, Maryland, something like that.
And this was a year or two before the actual...
This was about 2 years. This was the first thing.
Which was this past fall, so fall of 24, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And so that was the first pool. So I think it was about 150 people in total.
Did you go to all 3 of them? Or
Some people did. I just went to the Jersey one.
Okay.
Because I was going to school, so...
Right.
Yeah, and then I got the call that I was one of the ones, they shrunk it down to 50-ish girls, something along those lines. And then we started training camps, more officially working drills, and just narrowing down that number to get to the 23.
And you mentioned Sam Schwartz slammed you on the board. Is that like your welcome to box moment?
Yes.
Was it? Were you like, I love this? Or were you like, I don't know if this is for me?
A little bit of both. I was in high school used to being told watch the push. So I was a little more reserved, and then when Sam jacked me up, I was like, okay, like, let's go.
Like, gave you the green light?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was awesome.
That's cool. And then, so you make the team, team goes up to Utica. Talk a little bit about that experience. I know I heard some very cool stories about some of the cool stuff you guys did, like that practice in the outdoor field.
Yeah, that was
I heard about from Coach Wheeler.
Yeah.
But anything that really sticks out kind of leading up to the championship game from your time up in Utica?
The first night we were there, we met in our team room and we watched Miracle together. It was a great team bonding experience, and I mean, like, that's what we were going to do. Like, we were the underdogs. We were going to go and win this first gold. And so...
And for anyone who doesn't know, why were you the underdogs? Like, who is the top... Yeah, right.
I mean,
Canada,
that's their game.
And those women have played, not all since they were kids, but a lot of them played when they were kids. A lot of them played with the boys when they were kids, right? And then that is their national sport in the summer.
Yeah.
As people might not know, boxes, and they basically play in the hockey rinks when the ice is melted in the summer, and then they play hockey in the winter, right?
Which actually, that was something that Cap really wanted to focus on during our training camps. We would always play against men's teams. Local, kind of the level under professional, like men's teams. And those first training camps were brutal. We did not beat a single team. But a couple months before it started to click, we got our first win. But that really prepared us. These men who have been playing box for however long, like, and after some games, they would be like, oh, by the way, like, I would do this. So it was a really great culture that Cap created, not only within our team, but also getting people from around, especially the East Coast, but because that was mostly where our training camps were, but to buy into this first women's box team.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, you're competing, but they're also helping you out there, right? And it's like a mix of like, oh, we're going to go play a bunch of women, but at the same time, we want to see them succeed. So that's a really cool, that's cool that sounded like from some of those scrimmages, like no one was holding back at all, but at the same time, like, they were helpful.
Yes,
like, in the
absolutely.
same way.
Yeah. And then some other fun things that we did as a team. We would all have breakfast together every day, just like spending a lot of time together.
What was your favorite breakfast place in Utica?
Utica coffee.
Yeah, that's not a bad spot.
I don't like coffee, but I would get this like drink that, I'm sure it had 200 milligrams of caffeine in it. And everyone, it looked like toxic waste. It's like this bright green, but it was
like
great.
A green tea kind of thing?
No, it was like sugar.
No, poisonous sugar.
It was sugar and that was green. I don't even know how to describe it. But just like walking down the street, you'll see your teammates there. You didn't plan to meet up, but it was great.
And this was the fall in Utica. A lot different than
nice.
when we had our box tournament for the Sixers in Utica, and it was 2 degrees. It was
Not
like beautiful.
Then.
It was like beautiful. Need to Eat. I think it was Need to Eat, the place right across from the DoubleTree. There's a really cool breakfast spot. That's my favorite spot. There's always like packed.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. So, okay, you guys have some great games.
Yeah.
Go and you don't play Canada in the round robin, right? So that was kind of cool. I thought, like, you wonder, it's like you talk about Miracle, they played the Russians in the first round and got crushed. I'd be curious if you had played the Canadians, if that would have been better or worse, but you each were in different pools.
Yeah.
Right, you each won your pool undefeated. Had either of you given up a goal? Did you guys give up a goal?
I think that we did. Canada, it was like they were...
They might have given up one at the very end.
100 to like one. Yeah.
I think they gave up a goal to Netherlands, and Netherlands went crazy when they scored. I remember seeing that. Like the whole stadium erupted. Yes. We were just so happy to see the Netherlands kind of break through.
Exactly.
But leading up to that game, talk about the emotion. Like what was the environment like in the locker room, and what was kind of the message that Coach Cappuccioni and the rest of the coaches said?
It was just electric. Sam Swart and I were making TikToks in the locker room. Like, we were really trying to stay calm.
You ready, let's get it. You know I know how to make them stop and stare as I zone out. The club ain't even handle me right now. Watching me, I go all out.
I was gonna say, were you nervous?
I was so nervous. I don't really drink caffeine, and I had way too much
The
caffeine.
sludge, the green sludge.
So my heart was racing. I was shaking. I haven't had caffeine since.
You got your fill for a couple years?
100%. I was super nervous, so I was just trying to distract myself, turn on the music, dance, whatever. And then one of our coaches would sage us before every game. So Charlotte North and I are walking outside to get saged, and I was saying to Charlotte, I'm really scared. This is my first Team USA anything. I haven't even played a college game yet. I've redshirted my first year, so I'm about to hit an international stage before stepping on a collegiate stage.
That's pretty wild.
And Charlotte was just gave me great advice. Obviously, she's a vet when it comes to Team USA, and so she was awesome. Just kind of talked me down, and she was like, it's lacrosse. We've done this for 2 years now. You're prepared. You're ready, which was awesome and really helped me. And yeah, then I was picked to do the first face-off. Ref said I jumped the whistle. I didn't think so, but again, super anxious on that caffeine. Maybe I did. So, and then it was just once we started playing, it was.
That's kind of how it is, right?
Yeah.
You get those butterflies, and then the first hit or the first time that the ball goes in one of the nets, you're like, okay, this is just lacrosse. We're here. And that game, to this day, I watch the replays back, and it gives me chills. It is unbelievable. When I think it was Allie, when it tipped off her stick and went out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
And then she wrote it back and scored. I was like, that is kind of the culture that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
It's you make a mistake, you go out, you get to play back, and then you score. And that was so cool. And getting to broadcast it with Danielle Ponticelli, she was amazing, and we had so much fun. And Teddy Jenner was down on the floor with Mackie Jenner, and it was just a really cool experience from my perspective. And then to see you guys win, and Coach Wheels and Coach Cap, who was on my team when we went to Prague in 2011, so it was a really full circle moment. Was so cool. But anything when did you realize okay, we're winning this thing, and start to really get hyped up?
So the game was very back and forth.
Yeah.
And the moment that I was we're gonna win was when Canada accidentally scored on their own goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that's
and it barely went in, right? It was just went inside the post.
Yeah.
Barely crossed the goal line.
Arguably, if the refs weren't paying attention, it wouldn't have been called.
Right.
And I mean, that's in that environment, that's just crushing to give up. And that's when I was we're gonna take this momentum and we're gonna run with it. Because those are the characters that are on my team. Allie Kennedy, she's not stopping until that last whistle.
Yeah.
Charlotte Bakes, and so, that's when, for me, I was all right, we're going to crush it. And we had a huge stop. We had 2 penalties. So we were down 2 girls. It was, I believe, Kayla Wood, Cookie Carr, and myself against 5 Canada girls, and got a huge stop. So I think just all over the floor, really consistent, hard playing the entire time, and I had faith in us. So
that's awesome. And what and then, so you mentioned right, you redshirted at UVA your freshman year, then you played in the World Box Championships, and then you had your spring season at UVA. What did you bring from that experience back to your field game, or how did box influence what you did on the game field?
Yeah. First, just confidence-wise, I mean, coming into a Division I school, top 10 team, everyone's used to being the best player on their club team, high school team, but you get together and you're fighting for playing time. It's intense, and I think just getting that confidence that these girls believed in me, not just the coaches, but the players, everyone, it just really helps. You're okay, it's just lacrosse.
Right.
So some of the stuff that Charlotte said to me too, I would kind of say before practice, or make a mistake, just shake it off. I mean, endurance wise, never been in better shape.
Right? Like, after I played box, I feel like I could play like 3 back-to-back field games.
Exactly.
You're like, this is nothing compared to box with the hard change of direction, how quick it is. And
I know. We did our conditioning like 3 days after I got back, and I was like, all right, I'll do an extra set. But I think in general, just controlled aggression, I think that was a little bit of a change, the control part of that.
in box, you were basically allowed to go all out, right?
Yeah.
Cross-checking and body checking, whereas, like, field typically is frowned upon a little bit.
Definitely frowned upon. I mean, my role for that Canada game was hit Dana Dobie as hard as you can. Like, that was all they wanted me to do. So...
It's not a bad assignment. Just crush this legend with everything
exactly.
you have.
Oh, my gosh. But I think stick handling was significantly better. Endurance, and then, that controlled aggression aspect.
I know you're a defender, but how about the shooting element? Like, shooting on 6x6 goals with small goalies versus the tiny goals in box versus padded up goalies. Did you find that made a big difference in your shooting ability?
Oh my gosh, significantly.
Yeah.
After shooting on that little cage for 2 weeks straight, I think we were doing some shooting drill and I hopped in and people were like, wow, Cece, that was a good shot. I'm like, there's so much net. I can't, like, there's nowhere not to go. So that was awesome,
That's cool. Sounds like the team was super close.
Mm-hmm.
Do you stay in touch with most of the team still?
So about, I don't know how long we've been doing this now, but I'll say 15 minutes ago, I was just on the phone with Emily Harris-Chuck, our captain.
Yeah.
Allie Mastriani and I work out every week. Sam Swart and I had sleepovers at her apartment in Philly. Talked to Aaron Bakes yesterday. Like, it is truly crazy how, I mean, yes, we were together for those 2 years, really, but those 2 weeks in Utica, like, those are some of my strongest relationships.
And how much does winning help, right?
I mean,
like that, like, cements it in. That really, like, cements it in, right? Not that you wouldn't be as close if you guys were silver medalists, but that really, like, locks it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Winning creates a special bond.
And so we actually have our ring ceremony in allegedly Utica. I don't know about that. But it'll be on September 29th, which is the 1 year anniversary of us winning
awesome.
it. So
that's very cool.
That's coming up in a couple months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, exciting times. All right, well, we'll shift gears here. You recently have decided to go in a different direction for your college lacrosse playing remaining 3 years, which has been, I know, a up and down experience, but maybe what are some of the things when you were like, okay, I'm going to make a change? What are some of the things that are important to you that you were really looking for as you embarked on the journey to find a new home?
Yeah, I mean, my top 3 things were our culture, academics, lacrosse. I was incredibly lucky. UVA has one of the best team cultures I have ever been a part of. And that is coming from someone who was on that very close box team. Summit has an incredible culture. UVA is just so special. And Sonia LaMonica, our head coach, took what Julie Myers had created and added her own twist to it. And, I mean, all of us are so close too. So I was very lucky with that. And so that was a huge focal point for me. Academics, UVA is obviously a fantastic school. So wanted to stay in that realm of academics. My dad says that the 4 years of lacrosse are super important, but the 40 years after are what counts. So just setting me up for a successful future. And lacrosse, I chose UVA, I chose the ACC for a reason. And staying in that super competitive environment where coaches can say, that wasn't good enough. Like, I need you to step it up. Players can say, Cece, like, watch the push there. Like, you're going to get called. And it's not whiny. It's not annoying. It's out of love. Because
accountability, right?
Exactly.
It's like, taken to the higher standard.
Exactly. So those are my big 3 things when looking for a new home.
Awesome. Well, we talked about winning, right? Winning does help, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I was lucky enough to be at the Final Four this year when Cornell won. And, like, the 40 years thing, like, that also comes together with winning. Like
Yeah.
when everyone comes back and you see the culture and everyone who's connected over the years. It's really cool. So how different was it going through the process with experience of being a collegiate athlete? Like, you know, when you're junior in high school, you don't know what's what, right? And now you've actually gotten to see like what a college practice looks like, what good facilities are, where you play, things like that, and have the experience. How much better was it kind of having that knowledge?
So it was significantly different. I was able to ask questions that now I know are more important.
Right.
You know, you're 16 years old, you're just like, so do you guys get free gear? And now, like, I know.
You're like, what brand of gear?
So I know what's super important to me, and I was able to ask coaches and be super blunt. Because that's the other thing, you know, you're 16, this is a Division I college coach, like, you don't want to say anything, but I know that coaches respect being asked those tough questions. And so I know what matters. Facilities wise, I mean, I had only visited UVA. It was my first visit. I committed while I was there. So this was my opportunity to really see other schools. And unfortunately I missed it, but UVA this year is opening their brand new facility, which is going to be incredible. So I am used to a temporary facility. So honestly, I was just like, that's not what's important to me. Like, I know it is, which is different for everyone. Yeah. But going through this again with a little more knowledge really helped me out.
Anything from your visits that, you know, funny stories or things that were like, you were like, I didn't expect that?
I mean, I think a lot of these schools, again, since I'd never seen anything but UVA.
Right. Or their field when you go to play
exactly.
Them, right?
It was super interesting to just see the, like, student aspect of all these schools. And I know there were a couple schools that I played against at UVA, and, you know, driving to the field, you're like, I don't think I like this. And then actually going to the visit, you're like, wow, this is gorgeous that I just didn't see this part of campus. Or whatever.
Especially when sports are separate from the, like, Yale's a completely different athletic campus versus their academic campus.
So being able to see a new side of these schools is really important.
You got a couple big events in your life right now, right?
Yeah.
You want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Today is June 26th. It's my little sister's birthday.
Happy birthday.
She's 16. That's not okay.
That's not okay?
She's the baby. Now she's 16 years old.
She's going to drive soon, right?
Oh, God. And middle sister Juliet just graduated from high school. So graduation party this weekend.
Oh boy. Look out. Look out, Summit, New Jersey. Summit cops be on alert.
Oh, no. No. We are from Chatham, in case you're wondering. Don't come in Summit.
All right, well, the moment that everyone's been waiting for. Where are you going to take your talents?
I'm going to Syracuse.
The Orange.
Go Orange.
Go Orange. Let's go.
Yeah.
Congrats on making that decision. I'm sure that's a big weight that's lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah. Being a nomad is no fun.
No. All right, let's talk internship.
Yes.
What are some of the things you've been doing so far as an intern here at Trilogy Lacrosse?
I have been doing a lot of emailing of promoting camps to club directors, emailing college coaches, getting them to tournaments, showcases. Just really learning from the best here. But yeah, just wherever y'all need me, really.
Yeah, and you got to work our showcase. You were with me at our Jersey showcase.
That was awesome. Which
we had a great turnout of kids. I thought it was a pretty flawless day with the weather, and we got really lucky there. Then you worked the Ivy, got to see the tournament side. What were your thoughts on the craziness of the tournament lifestyle?
Craziness is a great word to describe it. No, but I mean, especially with those golf carts, having played club lacrosse for so long, that is something that was super unique. I've never thought of it, never seen something like that. And the parents loved it. Everyone was just like, this is such a well-run tournament.
So for anyone who wasn't there, you were basically helping people, because the parking was at the Yale Bowl, like the big football stadium, and then you would help cart them to the field, which are a little bit away, right?
Yep. And also the little kids that would ask me to just drive them around the fields.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because we always get, at the boys' tournaments, especially when the parking's a little closer, we always get can I ride the golf cart? And I'm like, no, you can't. But you guys got to say, you get to be the nice, fun yes people.
Yes, until it's Sunday and it's about to, everyone's about to start leaving. Little boys are like, can you drive us to field 1? We're on field 2 right now. You can walk.
You can take that walk, yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome.